joined by Thunderwolves head coach Philip Vigil.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap House. Phil Vigil Show. Jim Brooks along with Joe Servey. Benny Bash, our producer and engineer. And, of course, the head coach, Phil Vigil.
Good to be here.
Man, what a ball game. I mean, regardless of what the outcome turned out to be, Phil, that was just one of the greatest college football games that didn't turn out for a victory. I mean, just the way the game developed and the way it played out.
I was proud of our team. You know, we talked all week long that we were going to go down there and shock the world, and we believed the entire game. And I really felt like we were going to come out of that thing with a win. And even when we were down early, you know, there was just this sense that somebody was going to make a play, and when they did, we were going to roll it. And really proud of the team, really proud of their fight, really proud of their resiliency. Came up one play short against a really good team.
Yeah, that'd be your worst fears, though, coming out the way they just, I mean, they're solid. I mean, that is quite an outfit, and they marched down the field, but they had to make some great plays in that first quarter. They overcome a fourth down and long, you know. Conventional wisdom says, hey, kick the field goal, do something. They go for it and convert a 4th and 9. I mean, they made some huge plays that normal teams just don't make.
To their credit, you know, I mean, that's what good programs do. They know how to win, and they know how to attack. And we did not start strong. You know, we went 3 and out our first 3 possessions on offense, and the defense had trouble keeping them out of the end zone. They scored on their first 3 possessions, touchdowns, and then you look up, and it's early second quarter, and you've got very little yards on offense and 21 points given up on defense. But again, you know, they didn't flinch. They didn't blink, and offense went out there, got a score. We get a stop on defense. Special teams makes a big play, and here we go. The Pack's back, you know, and from that point on, it was really we felt like we were going to win.
It was like a Rocky movie, wasn't it? You guys absorbed all that punishment, and in the corner, I said, man, I got to come after this. And then all of a sudden, once you landed a punch, kind of staggered them a little bit and kind of got them back on their heels a little bit. And then you guys went toe-to-toe for a while, and then it just turns out, like you said, they made a couple extra plays. One extra play, I guess, is the way you look at it in the final analysis.
Yeah, you know, we went into halftime down by 14 points and had just scored on offense. Come out second half, score right away on offense, and we're down by 1 score. And we told them if we win the third quarter, we're going to win this football game. And we did. We won the third quarter, tied it up as time expired there in the fourth. And you know, they'd only scored 7 points in the second half against our defense. Defense was playing really, really well. And it was a fantastic game to be a part of. You know, you talk about taking some headshots early. I'd like to dodge a couple of those in the future. You know, but again, you know, 99% of the teams out there in that environment, in that place, down 21-0 are going to quit, and our guys didn't quit.
I thought defensively made all those stops. I guess probably in the final analysis when you looked at the film, probably saying, man, I wish we could have gotten a score there a couple of different times when we got it to within a score. You had a couple of possessions that were empty after stopping them, once from midfield through the pick on the first play. I think that was one of the key moments right there when you're at midfield and you took the shot, didn't complete it there. But if you just get a score earlier in the quarter, they're going to be in trouble with their backup quarter, you feel like it, but just didn't get that touchdown till the end when you needed it.
Yeah.
Plus you had 2. Actually, you got a touchdown, and then you got another one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, it was
I guess one was on defense, of course, but but the offense get the one late.
True freshman.
Yes.
Yeah. True freshman. You know, linebacker Gary, and did an unbelievable job, and kind of stepped in there and made some plays. Excited about his future, but again, proud of our team. You know, we came up short. Obviously, went in there expecting to win that football game. It kind of, as it went on, it hurt even a little bit more. You know, but walked away very encouraged that our team can play with anyone, and they walked away encouraged, knowing they can go to toe-to-toe with anybody. And right now, we gotta figure out a way to get back to 0 and hit that reset button and go to work on Western Colorado.
Well, I know Joe's got a million questions, but I'll go ahead and ask the ultimate one that everybody wants to know about. And for the record, on the air, we both disagreed about it. I said, kick it, send it into overtime because they got their backup quarter. Your defense is playing phenomenal. I thought conventional wisdom was, kick the darn thing. We're going to be better in overtime. We're going to win the ball game. As it turned out, didn't work out that way. As you've had time to reflect about it, do you still make the same call, or do you think about, what, man, oh man, what? I mean, you had to lose a little bit of sleep. Anybody would, wondering, man, what should I have done?
I mean, hindsight's always. You always look back and think, how can I improve? How can I get better? What decision would I make differently? I don't know if I would have made that decision any differently. Like I said, our defense had played phenomenal in the second half. They'd only scored 7 points in the second half. And I can't tell the future of what's going to happen in overtime, that they're going to score, 15 points in overtime.
Well, you look like a genius when we score on the first play. And it's all right, defense, just go win the ball game.
That's what we thought was going to happen, and earlier in the game, we used our favorite 2-point play against them to score a touchdown. And so, obviously the game has changed with the overtime rules, and you've got to have a plethora of 2-point plays. And we had them ready. We had already used our favorite one, and our defense is playing so good. And I was like, man, we're going to put this in their hands. And I knew we were going to score. We had a bunch of guys on the sideline, and before we called the play, I was like, hey, we're going to score on this play. Watch this. And first play, boom, I knew we were going to score on that thing, and executed it really well. Keon did a good job making their All-American linebacker miss and touchdown. And I was like, here we go.
All right, Joe, I'm going to hand the floor to you for your 5 minutes.
I'm just curious, a couple things. Down 21-0. That's the first time you as a coach of this program had faced that kind of adversity.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think why were you down 21-0? Was it just a series of bad breaks, or was it just not playing at the level you needed to?
Yeah.
Or, you know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
There was that quarter and a half where it was just like you weren't there.
Yeah, I think a little bit we tried to be who we weren't offensively. We got into a rhythm there where we really figured out how they were going to try to defend us, and what the best way to put points on the board, and so we stuck with that. And once we found it, they couldn't stop it,
right.
And so offensively, I think we were trying to play a little bit of hold the ball, take away, where that's not really us, and so we adjusted, and the guys adjusted, and when you're down like that, you're not going to get back into it in one play.
Sure, chip away and
exactly
chip away.
Right.
But
so
you guys were, and then you start the second half, and Jim and I said it on the air. It's going You get a stop and you get a score, and then you ask your defense, hey, you got to stop these guys again, and they do, and then you get all of a sudden it's starting to turn the way you need it to turn.
Mm-hmm.
But tell me, I was down on the sidelines for the final 3 minutes. The touchdown play on the last play of the game to force overtime. That had to be one of the greatest plays ever in CSU Pueblo history, just to get it to overtime. Tell us about that play.
Chance actually called it.
Did he really?
Yeah, we were down there, and we called the timeout before that play, and we were talking about it on the headset, and Chance goes, let's run Texas. It's a concept that we have on the goal line. He's like, I'm gonna hit Reggie in the back of the end zone. And sure enough, here goes Reggie right there in the back of the end zone. He delivers a great ball. The protection was phenomenal. Cade Chapman actually took 2 guys on that play. Our left tackle blocked the defensive end. The defensive end, they did a good job getting their hands up. He raises up to get his hands on the ball, and here comes a blitzer off the edge, and he abandons that guy, punches him, and punches this guy just enough for Chance to get the ball off, and Chance delivers a strike and tied it up.
Oh, it was bedlam down there. That was one of the most exciting plays to be on the sidelines for ever. I was with a couple of dignitaries from CSU Pueblo, and it was like, I said, now we got to kick the extra point. Come on. Welcome to realism, because we know there's nothing extra about extra points.
Well, we told them, too, before that drive. I told Braley, Coach Brown, our offensive coordinator, I said, get your 2-point play ready just in case. And I said, I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I'll be ready to roll. And so, again, just with the way that our defense had played the entire second half, I just felt like we were going to win that thing, but, scoring and stopping them.
But at the time you made the call, it was the right time to you. It was the right call to you. Mm-hmm. And that's all that matters. We do that in life. You make a decision, that's the right decision at that time in that part of your life. You can sit back and say, oh, why,
Second guess it.
Exactly. Yep. So that's why, and you can make a case for either way. Mm-hmm. You go for 2 and you don't get it. why'd you do that? Your defense was playing so good.
Yeah, no doubt.
It doesn't matter, but I think it was just it didn't feel like a loss. I know it was, and I'm sure it did to you. But to the people that we deal with every day, and the fans and our families and the people that follow Thunderwolves through us, they couldn't be more proud of the effort and the excitement that game brought.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to show Saturday here.
I hope so. I hope we have a great crowd. We're going to need them. You know, we're going to be a 2:00 kick, and we need that place to be rocking and be loud and help us get home field advantage.
Well, normally, John Riston just like said, there was always 6 plays in a game that could turn the tide. I did my little condensed game thing. Usually I get it down to about 20, 25, 53 plays or 56 plays. I think I put on my little recording. There were so many key pivotal plays in this game that you could choose from. And, I mean, any one that you look back on and say, man, how did that happen? How did we let that go? I have one that comes to mind on one of their scoring drives. Let's see what you figure out. You got any of them that you just thought about and go, man, oh man, how did that happen?
More on the other way around, more like, you know, Zach Rakowski's catch in the end zone when he took that one off that guy's head.
Amazing. Unbelievable. He mossed the guy. You got mossed, but he's this big.
It was awesome.
He's like reverse moss.
Yes.
It's reverse osmosis. That's what it was.
It was awesome. You know, that one was great. Gary's pick was unbelievable. The blocked field goal with EP taking that down. I mean, there's so, just like you said, Jim, there's so many plays in that game where you're like, wow, what an unbelievable play. Or, oh, we got to make that play.
Well, and Cade Peterson broke your heart several times.
He did.
Just because that's the kind of quarterback he is. And you knew that was going to happen.
You know, and to Coach Foskey's credit, you know, he hurt us those first 3 drives. But after that, he didn't scramble again for them. And you know, we started spying the quarterback, and I was like, let's make this guy beat us with his arm, and let's spy him, and and that hurt him.
Well, I thought the running back was spectacular.
Oh, he's unbelievable.
The run he made down at the end, you guys had him bottled up, actually knocked him backwards off the line of scrimmage from like about the 10 back to the 13. He just regrouped and went right down to the 1-yard line. I think you're thinking there, if you get him stopped, you might get him, force him to a field goal. Then you go score and win the game.
No doubt. And that's kind of how it was at the beginning of the game. You know, offensively, we weren't clicking. You know, we took a couple shots, didn't connect. And, you know, running the football early on those guys was tough. And then defensively, we had them in the right position, but we were missing tackles. And you know, you can't do that against good teams. You do that against good teams, you're going to see yourself in a hole like we were.
Well, the other key play of the game really was the kickoff where the guy's knees on the ground. You know, when we're watching in full speed and we see the challenge flag go out, and we're thinking, well, maybe he stepped out of bounds. But then they put it on the big screen for a brief second. Knees down. So then they didn't show it anymore. Obviously, they don't want to show it anymore because it's obvious as all hell what was going on. And we talked with Paul Plinsky at halftime. They go over there and they look at this little Microsoft tablet. When you've got that big screen up there, you can see his knee down playing. You could have drew a circle around it. What was their explanation?
Well, you know, on the field, I thought, man, it looked like his knee was down when he picked the ball up. Mm-hmm. And then they show the replay. And I was like, I'm going to challenge this thing. You know, it was a huge part of the game. It was right at the end of the half. You know, I didn't need any more timeouts. And so we challenge it. The refs go and look at it. And, you know, they're talking back and forth. And the view that we saw from the TV screen that they showed up on the Jumbotron was not the same view that they had. And they said that the iPad was so fuzzy and so blurry that they couldn't see when he had possession when his knee was down, and so that's why the call stood.
See, that's my
They didn't say it was right.
They said it stands.
It just stands. The call stands.
That's what I'm saying. You leave it up to that. You got the big. If we got these stadiums, just let everybody look.
I'm with you. Get the call right.
Yeah, Jim wanted 15,000 judges in the jury.
Well,
and you could hear the HUD. They went, oh, as soon as they showed, they knew. Everybody knew.
They knew.
And we thought the longer it took, the more beneficial it would be, but it turned out to be the opposite.
Yeah, that was a hard one. You know, there were several. You know, when you go to a place like that, you don't have to just overcome Grand Valley State. You have to overcome the fans. You have to overcome the refs. You have to overcome. There's a lot that you have to overcome to walk away with a game like that. And
well, they had students on both ends of the stadium,
great
plus
atmosphere.
behind you.
It was great atmosphere. Love it.
I'm
I wish
telling
we
you.
could play in that every weekend.
Oh
It was
man,
awesome.
it was crazy down there.
All right, we're going to take a time out. We'll come back here. We are at Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap House. But first, Joe wants to point out we're going to change up the menu this a little bit. 'Cause
Yeah.
that one got retired. We got a pizza. We got pretzel bites. Teriyaki.
Those are barbecue, and
Oh,
these
barbecue.
Are just just regular,
Just plain.
regular.
Naked
Yeah,
bites.
Naked?
No, but with the hot.
Oh, okay.
Oh, they got a lot. Well, they're not
Yeah.
naked then.
Buffalo.
Yes.
Buffalo, okay.
Yeah,
so
so-
they're not truly naked.
No,
That's a good thing with
yeah,
you.
Yeah.
Or me.
You don't want to see
Yeah,
that
that's
ever.
right. We don't need that.
Ever.
All right, it is pint night. It's New Belgian pint night. So everybody in the house here, $3. Any of the New Belgian pints, $3. $3. So after the show's over, I like any of them. In fact, they got a pumpkin spice one, I believe. Talbot, you can have a pumpkin spice one, all right? So that's what they're having here, pint night, New Belgian pint night here at Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap House. This is the Phil V. Hill Show. We'll thank our sponsor, our other sponsor. I didn't bring my card, so I'm going to have to bring up my little notepad. but
We
we'll
can
tell.
turn that over to the coach because he's got a relationship
That's
Yeah.
right.
with
we'll do that.
Wrestler Implements.
I sure do.
But we're going to talk about that more when we come back after this timeout. Phil V. Hill Show at Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap House on Fox Sports Pueblo. And welcome back, Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap House, Phil V. Hill Show here on Fox Sports Pueblo. I'm getting bombarded with the old text again. And I guess the iHeart app is down. We're on the radio, so if you're out and you're cruising around in your car, welcome to the show. Glad to have you along, but if you're on your phone, you can't hear what I'm saying. Like they're still working on it, I guess.
Inquiries are being made.
One of the guys with pocket protectors, one of those engineer guys, one of those pointy-headed engineers. We all know who they are at your place of business with the screwdrivers.
You're talking in general.
In general, yeah,
I thought
the
you were
IT
talking about
guys.
my business.
Benny has said they had him in the computer. He went and found it not authorized for broadcast. So Phil, you're not authorized right now on the. For
They
some
banned
reason.
me.
So he's working around, doing a workaround. But that's why we record it. We'll post it later. People can hear all your scintillating comments there for the first 15 minutes of the show. But do it the old-fashioned way. Just go out in your car and listen on the radio. But
Scintillating.
yeah, I'm using that word a lot here lately.
I'm
used
just
it
a couple times.
in the
You're going to have to
game.
explain that one.
Yeah,
Scintillating.
exactly. Oh, my goodness.
Who's the smartest coach on your staff? Who uses most big words?
Oh, man.
I can't be the Texas guys.
That's a good question. When Dr. P comes over, he
He raises the level
yeah. He's got that PhD,
Well, he is the good doctor.
of. No,
Doctor.
Exactly.
doctor.
I have, maybe I know I see a lot of people call him doctor. I can't do it. I can't call a chiropractor doctor either.
You know why? Because he can't prescribe Vicodin.
that's
you
what
know,
that's the difference maker right
my
there,
best
isn't
friend
it?
is a PhD, so technically he's a doctor, but I will never call him doctor because
Yeah,
he
until
can't
you
write,
can-
he can't
that's
write
the-
me a script.
Until you can write a script for Vicodin,
Now,
then that's the test.
I got to share a story with Coach here.
Okay.
Before the game, we're there as early as you, hours before the game, and I had a nice conversation with your offensive line coach.
Coach Graff.
And he was very introspective, and he was kind of telling me some of the ties and how coaches got here. And he told me, he goes, I'm going to tell you right now that there are going to be some true freshmen that are going to make a name for themselves tonight and this season. And I said, yeah. He goes, yeah, we got a couple of guys. Some are going to start, some are going to play a lot, but they're true freshmen and they're ballers. And he goes, you watch. And he goes, I'm not going to tell you who they are, but I'm just telling you, when you look down and see, if you're going to see true freshmen and guys making plays. So when Gary Seidenberger takes one to the house, I peek in. Yeah, that was one of them. But you got some young guys making plays.
He's starting a center.
Our
True
starting
freshman.
center, true freshman, and go into that environment. Didn't make one bad call. ID'd everything the way he needed to. Not one bad snap. Did not flinch. We've got we've got some young guys that people here in the next couple of years are going to look up and say, how did they get these kids? How did they get these kids? Because we've got some guys that are pretty special.
And get them out of Texas.
California, Texas.
Yeah.
We're going to go wherever the players are, and we've got a lot of guys on my staff that have Texas ties. We're still going to make Colorado a priority. We have to. It's what this program's been built on, and there's a lot of good football here in Colorado. But we're going to use our ties as well to go south and west and find the best in California and Texas and Arizona and bring them Pueblo, Colorado.
He said the death knell of coaching, assistant coaching, is if you don't have a good relationship with the high school coaches in Texas, you might as well, you won't even get in the door.
No, it's really anywhere. I mean, it's about relationships in anything, and getting your face out there and developing real relationships and getting to know coaches and their families and their kids and telling them, really what we're about, what we want, what we're looking for, and they'll steer you to the right ones and steer you away from the wrong ones.
Exactly.
It's a two-way street.
All right, enough of the feel-good stuff. Let's go back to Dr. Plinsky. The siren.
Doctor.
Phil, the siren. When do they have to turn the damn thing off? We thought it was 20 seconds. They were running that thing down to 12, 11. And that was the most annoying, obnoxious sound in the world to have to try to work through. It was great that you guys were able to, but a lot of hand signals out there because you can hear yourself think.
Yeah, we have a saying where if we can't see you communicate, it didn't count. And so we have a lot of hand signals. Last week we were blasting our own jumbotron about as loud as we possibly could. My wife texted me and said that she dropped the kids off at school and said we were dancing to Mariah Carey when we were walking into school this morning. So we were prepared for it. We've got to be able to laser focus and knock that stuff out.
But what is the rule? In overtime, he made him shut it off. Now, obviously, what made that so much? I thought overtime was just an extension of the ball game. What made him decide, I better turn this thing off
Dr.
now?
P did, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were getting ready to go out for the coin toss or overtime, and Dr. P's right there in their ear just saying, they got to turn that thing off. I believe, the referee said that once the offense approaches the ball that they need to stop that. I don't know
So there is no time limit. It's just a matter of subjective.
I guess. It's never been an issue, anywhere I've ever been. So, to be honest with you, I don't know what that was.
Well, I guarantee in an NCAA playoff game they wouldn't be able to do that because they don't allow anything in the NCAA playoffs. But I was just curious if there was a time deal. But in overtime, like I said, they shut the darn thing off.
Yeah, he said as soon as the offense approaches the ball that the noise needs to be done.
Okay, so it was illegal all night.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's what. Thank you, Your Honor.
You got to get where Jim's going.
Objection sustained.
Yes, he's leading the witness, Your Honor. Yes, I am. Right to where I need him to go.
Yeah, just answer the question for me. Yeah, there you go.
Am I going to get fined for this?
Yeah. Well, exactly.
Not with us.
Okay.
No. Well, yeah. If anybody will, it'll be me.
Yeah.
I'll ask Ryan here at Thunderzone if he'll cover it.
Jim takes all the bullets.
Yeah,
it's really nice.
I think that's about as bad as I got in that game. Was I said, we always talk about football players are on scholarship. I thought maybe there were 7 or 8 others on scholarship for that ball game, but it happened. They were doing this. It just goes without saying. When you're playing on the road, you got to overcome certain things. They felt like they got the shaft at Mines. When you're the road team, that's just the way things go, and that's why it's so tough to win out there on the road. You got to overcome adversity like that, and for the most part, your team did.
You don't ever want to. There was plenty of opportunity for us to win that football game, regardless of what the ref saw, called, didn't call, overturned, whatever. We had our chances.
Yeah, up until the very last second of the game, you were in the game.
Yeah.
Any other plays there that you thought we talked about them? I thought when you're looking at it. But you overcame it in regulation. Thought the time was starting to get away from you a little bit there when you had the play that only went down to the 9 and the clock kept running. You had to figure out when you're going to use your timeout. As it turned out, it looked like you're going to have to go. You had to use your timeout with the clock stopped, but you did get the touchdown on the last play. I'm sure that was probably one. Man, I should have used it sooner. But there's so many. That'd be a coach's clinic, wouldn't it? Do you approach a game film like that, or do you do that after the season when you start looking at things? Maybe this is how I should handle it different, or is that just a constant process throughout the season? And does it start on Sunday morning when you're just starting to watch things like that?
Yeah, a lot of it, obviously, you learn as you go through it, and as you played and as you coached, you get an idea and to develop, kind of what you want it to be. But so much of it is feel, right? And you're in the situation, and you got to kind of read the situation for what it is and use your best judgment to use those timeouts and things like that, and worked out this time.
All right, we're going to take another timeout here. We are at the Phil B. Hill Show. We are at Thunderzone Pizza and Tap House. It is the Rustler Implement Phil Vigil show. They're out on the Mesa as well as in Rocky Ford. They're,
Implements.
Implements. Anytime you
That's
need
what
something
you call things that go on tractors. The apparatus that go on
and
there.
it's that time of year, isn't it?
To hoe or to reap or to sow or to dig or to plant or cut, all that stuff.
And you won't deal with better people.
No,
exactly.
The Rustler family in this area is gold.
And we invite you to go to their website and their Facebook page. You register there for a couple of Visa $100 gift card giveaways you can get there. And plus you get up to date on all their specials. I was on their webpage a little while ago. Had some other special, speaking of some implement, cuts hay, looks like to me. When you got a lot of brush problems.
You know what they call that? A hay cut.
Thank you very much, Joe. That's deep. That's deep right there. All right, we'll come back after this timeout. We're going to take your questions. If you've got a question for the coach, 719-671-7574, 719-671-7574, or tweet Joe. I don't have time to pay attention to the Twitter. Joe does, or the X.
It's been a long day for Joe on Twitter.
You've had one of those days. What's up with the X?
I'm getting a little tired of the CU CSU.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a different.
And my coach took up for his guys today.
All right.
And the people in Boulder didn't much care for that.
Hold on. When you say your coach,
of Colorado State University.
He's a
where I went.
Wow.
I went to.
I thought I was your coach.
Yeah, exactly.
You were my coach in Pueblo.
All right, we'll come back. We're going to settle this
mater.
after Phil and Joe have a little powwow here. It is pint night here at Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap House in New Belgium. $3 pint night. If you're out cruising around and wanted some refreshment, come on down and you can have some pizza. You can have some pretzel bites. I can't wait to dig into that. That looks pretty good.
Have one.
Well, I'm talking right now.
Well, I know, but we go to break.
Okay, all right. We're going to take this time out. Right back after this on Fox Sports Pueblo.
It's the CSU Pueblo Thunderwolves Coaches Show on Fox Sports 1350. Let's head over to Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap with your hosts Jim Brooks and Joe Servy, joined by Thunderwolves head coach Philip Vigil.
And welcome back, Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap House. Now, see, Phil, they've got the sounder changed to the Coaches Show for you. They took your suggestion.
I don't remember the suggestion.
You. Well, you said you didn't want it to be the Phil Vigil show, so now they're calling it the CSU
football
Pueblo
with Coach Phil Vigil.
Okay,
show.
there we go.
So we got a little change
Thank
there
you,
for you.
guys.
That was done
but
for you.
It's
so.
still the Phil Vigil show when I
it's
out,
for us. That's
Thanks for the picture you posted of me too, with my mouth open like that.
That comes from your photography people.
My goodness.
That must be a Billy Sabo special. Was it in focus? We kid Billy just because we go back since high school with him, so we have to give him a little.
We kid because we care.
We have to give it a little shot. There's a lot of people not in a very kidding mood, I'm noticing, about everything this year. And we want to thank everybody for hanging in with us on the iHeart app. Benny finally got a hold of those guys with the pocket protectors. They finally got the iHeart app working. So that's all fixed up. So everybody can hear the show now on iHeart. They've been able to hear it on the radio all night long. So let's get to the questions.
I got a couple.
Why don't you go with yours
I'll
first?
give the first one.
Yeah, go ahead and give the first one.
Carol and Mark Rickman, Rock's parents, they're out soccer because they moved the soccer game. They thought inclement weather, but it's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever happened to the storm that was supposed to be here, it did not materialize. They want to know game day superstitions for the coach. Do you have any game day superstitions?
Not really. You
you do walk barefoot on the field.
I run. Yeah, I'll run. I work out before the game. I try to get some anxiousness out, I guess you could say.
Now, the word on the street was that you go barefoot so that you can become one with the turf.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Les Miles used to eat the grass.
Yes.
I want to get my roots into the turf.
Okay.
And all of the crushed rubber tires.
So you don't want to eat the crushed rubber.
That's a Michelin 110 70-yard.
Goodrich.
I heard somewhere that running barefoot's supposed to be good for you. I don't know if it is or isn't.
Well, all the marathoners,
Zola Budd.
All the marathoners in the world will agree with you.
Zola Budd was from South Africa, right? She ran barefoot, right? If I remember right.
Well, I remember the name, but I don't want to say the country because it may not be.
Well, I don't know if it's South Africa anymore. It's something else. That's right. All right, let's go to the next question here. Okay, go. You want to give him yours if you got it.
Just the other one was very physical game. How did CSU Pueblo come out injury-wise?
Yeah, we had some injuries. Unfortunately, we lost A receiver broke his ankle again. That's the second receiver this year that's we've lost for the year due to a broken ankle. We've had some some defensive linemen that got a little banged up, and nothing that is season ending, but it was a very physical football game.
All right, this is a question I missed from last week, but this is a pretty important one. It's very deep. Everybody and Thunderwolves fans want to know it. Have you made the switch from Hatch Chili to Pueblo Chili's?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. Exactly.
It's not
so
even,
we don't. Oh my goodness! They didn't even want him to say it here. But I'm just repeating the questions I got here from the.
That'll perk your ears
I
up.
tell you, everybody's on edge here tonight. They're ready for Western.
We want to play tonight.
That's what it is. We're going to take on Western. All right. So
I lived in Colorado for most of my life.
Yeah.
I grew up on Pueblo Chili's. I was only in New Mexico for 2 years.
Yeah. So you
You're
only
not
had
gonna
to
change my
I only had
mind.
those skinny, mealy things. I hate them. They're just. Can't stand a Hatch chili. Just no beef to it whatsoever.
No flavor. I mean,
No flavor. That's right.
Spice.
That's right. That's the big thing I see there. All right. I think Uncle Charlie checking here. No, that's not Uncle Charlie. I'm sorry. Let's go to. I got a lot of them here, and some of them I can't. One of them I can't really repeat. It was kind of a Rip Joe segment there.
Oh.
But
Look, he wants you to rip Joe.
Don't rip my announcer.
Yeah,
see what I did there? My announcer.
I'm his announcer. You're my coach now, man.
Oh, okay.
Screw Fort Collins.
Weird how that works.
Jay Norville, you're
I
on
got
your
your
own.
back, Joe. Don't worry about it.
Jay Norville, you're on your own Saturday, buddy.
Well, Uncle Charlie, he kind of pointed out what you did. You seemed like your club was in position in the first half. Just a few missed tackles here and there. I guess that just goes without saying. You got to make the tackles when you get a chance, right?
It goes down to players making plays, and we put them in a good position. We had opportunities to make tackles, and it's one of those things where those guys at Grand Valley, they're on scholarship too, and that running back is a very, very good football player. That quarterback is a very, very good football player and hard to tackle. And, we addressed those as we went on.
Well, and Uncle Charlie is also looking forward to the game plan. We'll do that in the next segment. Well, we're about 10 minutes away from talking about Western Colorado. Ken down there in the Ozarks, he wants to know, how is it determined which officials referee a ball game? Is it always a conference referee when you're on the road?
Yes.
Darts.
Yeah.
Throw darts at a board.
Wherever you're playing, whatever conference you're in, the home team will provide the referees. So last week when Midwestern came down here, it was RMAC officials. When we went to Grand Valley, it was GLIAC officials.
So that's just part of the deal. Everybody knows it. So
Jim's favorite saying, I don't know if you know this, because you don't really listen to us as we're doing it because you're busy, but
I told them, I said, I don't want to hear the coaches.
You want to hear Jim and
I
Joe.
want to hear Jim and Joe.
Okay. Well,
what do they think I should do on this one? And that's what I usually try to do.
And we're usually 100% wrong. Jim's
Speak for
favorite
yourself.
saying is know your geography. So when the
especially
ball
in
goes
basketball.
against you,
Yeah.
you just got to know where your geography. If you're in Grand Junction in a packed arena, you're not going to get a call.
That's very true.
But if
let's look back on a couple calls in this game, shall we? How about the punt that went out of bounds at about the 42 or 43, and they marked it at the 35? I mean, your whole collective bench went nuts, as I did, but I'm like, oh, come on, what is he looking at? I mean,
You're trying to get me in trouble.
Well, I know, but I mean that I could just see the whole collective bench go, and it was out at least the 40. I know they try to do even. So we know why they want to do that. Now the other one, maybe you saw this on, I say tape, we don't do tape anymore, but when they run around the right side, it was a third down run, went out of bounds at the 24, conveniently spotted at the 25,
and it was a first down.
The drive alive.
That was a big play.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for the challenge flag now, because now we have, that's the hard thing, when you're sitting in my chair is there's, you go back and obviously you watch tape and you evaluate and you see, okay, this should have been called this, but that's hard in live action to be able to see everything. The hard thing for us in this seat is, the calls that they make or don't make can affect your livelihood.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I'm thankful that we've got the challenge flag now in the RMAC, and we're able to use that in big plays that, like Saturday, where in my mind, the guy was clearly down. It didn't matter, but at least it gives you a little peace of mind that they're going to at least do their best to take a look and make the right call.
I'm sure the first play of the game when they're rushing the passer and the arm bar around your guy's neck, I guess we're not going to get the holding call right off the bat here. See, but that's for us to observe. We see that kind of stuff.
Was that your first ever challenge as a coach?
It was.
How about
0
that?
for 1.
We got to see it, though. We witnessed history.
You did.
The red flag.
I'm going to sign it and send it to you.
Would you?
All right.
We'll put it right here. We'll staple it right here.
Another big question here. Another big one.
Oh,
I mean,
whatever you says, what's your favorite color?
It's crucial. It does deal with color. And I can see why. This is a home game against Western Colorado. They're predominantly red. Is this going to be a blue out, or are we going to go with some combination of red and blue? What color uniforms this week? Or are we just going to surprise everybody? Have you made that decision yet?
We have.
Do you make that decision?
I don't. I give it to the leadership council.
Okay.
So we have a group of leaders on the team, and every week on Mondays we come together and we talk about, from their point of view, things that we need to change. So how was travel? What do we need to do better? How can we improve? Growth mindset. And one of the things that are always on the docket is what we're wearing this weekend. And so I had, I think, 9 choices up on my board because no one could make a decision on what they wanted to wear. And we went through and I said, what colors do you want? And we settled on red tops, white bottoms. So we're going to go white, red, white helmet.
Okay.
That's going to be the.
So you're just saying we don't care if your predominant color is red, Western color. We're going to show you the real red.
Our colors are red.
That's right. We don't care about that.
No.
All right, I like that. I just stick it right in their face. We're not going to go blue and be scared.
Us scared, or as we say in Pueblo, us scared.
Us scared. That's right. Us scared. Later on in the year, we'll have a blue out, I'm sure.
Well, maybe
Go all
it depends
blue.
on the council. Did you not just hear the explanation?
I'm leading the witness again.
I can lead the witness.
I'm leading the witness. All right. All right. It is the Rustler Implement Phil Vigil show here on Fox Sports Pueblo. It is pint night here. $3 pints, New Belgian. Get your pints while you can. We're about 16 minutes away from our pint.
From pint time.
Although you leave.
I do.
You take off.
Because
you act like your family really cares that you're there.
The Thunder Zone is as far away from my house as you can get in Pueblo.
Oh, yeah, it's the deep south side you live on, right? Okay, all right, I forgot about that. All right, Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap House. Phil Vigil shall come back. We'll talk about Western Colorado. That all comes your way next on Fox Sports Pueblo.
It's the CSU Pueblo Thunderwolves Coaches Show on Fox Sports 1350. Let's head over to Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap with your hosts Jim Brooks and Joe Servy, joined by Thunderwolves head coach Philip Vigil.
And welcome back to Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap. Oh, sure, make some noise out there. Make some noise. You got that New Belgian pint night going on. You should be properly. There you go. Hold it up high. Proud. There you go.
We heard the voodoo pumpkin. Jim.
Looks good.
Pumpkin. The voodoo pumpkin.
They booed it?
No, voodoo.
Oh, voodoo.
It gets two thumbs up. Yeah,
okay. Like it?
That's the popular
Lisa,
one.
Good?
Yeah.
It is good.
I'll be sure not to order that. Pumpkin. I hate pumpkin.
Really?
Oh, God. I know. It's
gosh.
one of my faults. One of my faults.
He doesn't drink coffee.
I was going to say Starbucks right now. They've got the cold brew pumpkin.
Yeah, he doesn't drink coffee.
Oh, my gosh. I was mad at my wife today. She was supposed to give me a Starbucks. She's like, I'll get him a Starbucks. It's great. Buy one, get one free on Thursdays.
And?
No.
Nope. I had a beautiful.
You know why? Starbucks is for winners.
Wow.
So
brutal.
next Monday, next Sunday, you get a Starbucks,
Okay.
right? Okay.
I'm going to buy a Starbucks tomorrow.
There we go.
Speak it into existence.
That's right.
Drink it into existence.
Make sure it's the proper thing to do. I tell you what, you win these next 2 weeks, I'll start drinking coffee.
Deal.
I'll start buying you
I don't
Starbucks.
drink it. I don't drink
I'll
the
bring
stuff.
you
I don't
one.
like pumpkins. I don't drink coffee. But
I
we'll
used to
start
have
doing
to-
both.
I used to have to bring Risco coffee.
Are you a
He
tea
drank
guy?
it.
Or
He
you-
drank it black.
Yeah, I drink tea. You win the next 2 weeks. We'll have a pumpkin right here on the table. I'll eat right out of the pumpkin.
All right.
Raw pumpkin. That's going to be some good. That's going to be a viral video, isn't it?
It is, hey,
All
you
right.
heard it here first.
That's right. I've gone out on a limb and said I'm going to do it. All right, Phil. Western Colorado comes in here, formerly known as Western State. They'll always be Western State in our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
The Mountaineers, they're going to come in here. This is a club. When you walk out on the field, I mean, these last 2 years, say, man, we got to take these guys. What is going on this field? They just keep. I think Joe has the best way to describe it. They have a way of uglying it up. They can just make you so frustrated and just grind you down defensively. They make you so frustrated. and then they make enough plays here and there, and then, against a team that's not really that good, all of a sudden they're up 2 or 3 touchdowns. But against good teams, they have a way of keeping it close with their defense, and then they make enough plays.
They're very, very well coached team. Coach Baines does a great job with those guys down there, and worked with Coach Auer, their defensive coordinator at Colorado Mesa when I was at Mesa, and obviously played against him. He was the defensive coordinator at Shadron under Coach Bill O'Boyle, and Joe McClain, their offensive coordinator, was a quarterback at Shadron, so played against him and know all those guys really well. And they're a great group of guys, and they do a great job with their players and getting those guys to play extremely hard. And they're playing really good football right now. And I showed our team just the history of this game and how tight it has been.
Oh my God, yes.
I went back to 2014, and really since 2014 until now, every single game has been decided by one score except for 3 years. And even in 2014, it was 26-23.
Last drive.
And exactly right. Coach Risson was like, we had to drive 95 yards to win that game. And I told the team, I said, you know what happened in 2014? They said, we won the national championship. I said, they don't make the playoffs, they don't win that game.
That's right.
And these guys play CSU Pueblo tough every single year. And they've had the Pack's number the last 2 years in a row. And
I went down on the field to write the obituary to that team with about 4 minutes to go.
Right.
And saw the most incredible comeback, and that just springboarded him to and that was the precipice of that, of moving on. That's how it was.
I have a lot of respect for those guys. They do a really good job and coach them hard. And Coach Auer does a great job with the defense. And he has those guys playing at a very high level. They believe in what they're doing. They are chaotic on defense. They will move and blitz and play about every coverage in the book just to keep you on your heels, And so, again, just same thing, same team. It's about the Pack. It's about us doing our job offensively, defensively, and special teams, and challenge the guys this week to put together a complete game. We have yet to do that, for 4 quarters. And so that's hopefully what we can do on Saturday.
I suppose finish some drives, too. Last year, 5 times in the first half, had it in the red zone. I think came away with 2 field goals, maybe only 1 field goal. But, it was that kind of game where
17-10.
But, in the first half,
yeah,
it could have been easily, if the Thunderwolves take care of business, might have been up 4 touchdowns if you execute in the red zone. I'm sure that's probably been one of the number one things. Hey, we gotta make plays when they're there and take advantage of certain situations.
Yeah, absolutely. We talk about making the routine play. Make the routine play every single time. Make the impossible play most of the time, and that's what you got to do. They force you to make spectacular plays. Watching that game last year, there were 2 or 3 drop touchdowns. But again, that's a testament to them and what they do and how chaotic they can make it on offenses. And I've seen it firsthand. I've practiced against the guy for 2 years when he was there with us and 3 years. And so he does a great job.
And offensively, I guess the motto, don't beat yourselves, because our defense is so good. We don't need to do anything spectacular. Eventually make a few plays because our defense is going to keep us in the ball game. Seems like offensively they're pretty, I don't want to say vanilla, but they don't do anything stupid. Is that a good way to put it?
They don't hurt themselves at all.
Right.
They're good at what they do. They're a very fundamental offense. They're going to run the football. Their quarterback is new this year. He's an athlete. Very similar to what we faced last week in that quarterback. And we've got to be able to defensively stop the run. That's going to be one of our big keys to victory on Saturday is making sure that we slow down their run game. They've got a really good tailback, that number 1 that is kind of their leader offensively.
Devin Butler.
Yep, he's a great player.
Quarterback Drew Nash, his numbers don't jump off the page at you, 33 of 62, but 4 touchdowns. That tells you he's able to make the play when he needs it. And like we said, their defensively, they just shut down West Texas A&M. That was just a beatdown.
It was.
And then last week they had to, offense had to come up with some plays last week, and they did.
Well, you even look at the box score after the game, and UTPB outgained them by quite a bit, but they still won the game, and they scored 35 points,
right.
And that's just, again,
that's Western State football.
Exactly right. It's a credit to Coach Baines and what he does down there. They're very opportunistic, and they find ways to create short fields for them offensively and create turnovers, and they play very, very hard on special teams. They're very sound on special teams. They're a good football team.
Biggest worry I have, maybe I don't know if it's your worry, it used to be the old saying, they called it the Raider hangover back in the 70s and 80s because they were so physical. That game last week, that was a battle royale. You had a lot of guys in the airport the next morning limping here and there. How's the health of the ball club? Did it bounce back? I'm sure a lot of cold tubs, a lot of rehab this week, and I imagine about Wednesday or Thursday everybody said, you know what, I feel fine. Except for a couple. What are any injuries of note that I know we lost one for the year?
Yeah, we've got a couple guys that are banged up. We've I don't know if we caught something on the plane or we've had probably 5 or 6 guys of practice miss. And so we've got this flu bug kind of going around right now, or cold or something that's kind of kicking our butt a little bit. But we'll be ready to go on Saturday. If we got guys that are out, next man up mentality, and we gotta take care of us and go get it.
Well, what are the things you look at as the keys to victory for this ball game for the Thunder? We'll start offensively. What do you got to do?
Yeah, I think start fast. We can't. There was a big difference between Midwestern State and Grand Valley State, and we've got to be able to start fast. We've got to play with great tempo. We've got to be able to dictate to them. I think that's what they do defensively, is they want to dictate to offenses. We've got to be able to do that to them and make them get on their heels a little bit. We've got to take care of the ball in the red zone because they're so hectic. We've got to protect the passer and be able to really see where they're bringing pressure, where they're bringing their stunts, to be able to keep Chance upright. Chance is playing at a very high level right now, and we've got to keep him upright, and we got to let him go to work. Defensively, like I talked about already, we've got to be able to stop the run, and we've got to continue to be opportunistic on defense. We've done a really good job, both offensively and defensively, of taking care of the ball offensively and go and getting the ball defensively. I think we're top 10 in the country right now in turnover margin, and we got to continue to do that and take care of the football, go create some turnovers, and I think we'll be in it.
I'm sure you're looking forward to a big house in this game. This is kind of the quasi-state championship as far as recruiting goes. If you look at Western's roster, I mean, they work the whole state. They get a lot of those small town guys on the western slope, but they work up and down the Front Range. You're a little bit more maybe regional based in your recruiting, but it seems like that's kind of their philosophy. We're going to get guys from the state of Colorado, and I'm sure they're probably preaching, you know what, if they didn't go after you, let's stick it in CSU Pueblo's, for not going after you. And I'm sure that is very important in your mindset. Hey, we've got to establish that we're the big dog in the state of Colorado.
Yeah, we they do a great job in recruiting. They're good coaches. They do a really good job with their camps. I mean, everything that they do is.
Well, JT, one of our old buddies.
JT Haddon, offensive line coach, played here. Went with Hunter, kind of traversed the south with Hunter Hughes as his line coach. And again, Western State you just know you need to play all 4 quarters, every minute, all 4 quarters.
That's right.
Because they're not going to beat you down. They're not going to outclass you. They're not going to outspeed you. But they will be in the fight every single play. And I think that's what I loved about your squad Saturday at Grand Valley is save that first quarter. You dominated one of the best teams in the history of college football for 3 quarters. And I think it was really fun to see. But you can't spot a team 21 points. And you definitely can't do that to Western State because they will just beat you down.
Yeah.
All right, Phil, final message to the fans. You're going to have a big crowd. What do you say to them to come out Saturday? What's your final message?
We need everybody. We need everybody out there on Saturday. We need that thing loud, and we need everybody to come out and support these guys and watch the Pack take care of business. That's the plan.
All right, we look forward to it. We'll have the ball game for you here on Fox Sports Pueblo. The pregame show at 1:30. Kickoff is at 2. Right here on AM 1350. Special people to thank, of course, Rustler Implement, the title sponsor of the Phil V. Hill Show. Everybody here at Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap House, Ryan Howard, and the entire crew and his entire staff working overtime for us here tonight. My partner is Joe Servy. Benny Bash has been our producer and engineer tonight. For the head coach, Phil V. Hill, I am Jim Brooks. Until we talk to you on Saturday. Good night, everybody.